Do gimmicky boss fights translate well to D&D, or should I just stick to standard combat? I'd like to have more variety in my boss fights to make them more memorable. One inspiration I have is the Batman Arkham games, which have a really impressive mix of different boss fight styles. I'm talking stealth boss fights that you have to take out from the shadows, bosses with weak spots, bosses you have to avoid rather than attack, and so on. Do these translate well into D&D, or are there ways I can make the standard combat bosses more varied? Great question. As I've mentioned before, translating a mechanic from a video game to a tabletop game like D&D is not impossible, but there are some things you should keep in mind. The foremost of which is when you lose a boss fight in a video game, most of the time you get to try again. Unless your player characters are in a high weirdness situation like a time loop or something, this is not the case for D&D. That means that unless you've taken certain steps, the entirety of the time your players have to identify, understand, and then defeat this gimmick is limited to one combat. But if you want to include a boss fight like this, one thing you can do is plant seeds in your adventure in the lead up to the boss fight, which teach your players the mechanics. This can be subtle, like a mention in an intercepted letter or a cryptic prophecy. It can also be overt. You can use your adventure to tell your players that there is a big bad guy and he is hard to kill. Then a lot of the adventure becomes figuring out how to do that. This isn't a new idea. We've been doing it since 1983.